It's less than an inch of snow as we kick off the work week, but it's going to have some big impacts on your morning commute. I'll let you know why.
We're live from the Spokane Arena this morning where a mass vaccination site is coming to the in the Northwest. We'll tell you who is eligible and how to get a dose coming up.
There was no question about restarting. We just knew that that's what we were going to do.
After a fire destroyed their building in downtown Coeur d'Alene, a local burger joint is still working to reopen. We're following their progress. A destructive night in Tacoma. Protesters take to the streets after a police cruiser runs through a group.
Up with KREM starts right now with Jen York, Joshua Robinson, Jeremy Legoo, and Dana Marie McNichol.
Coming up now on 6 a.m. This morning, we're waking up to a little snow on the ground. Overnight, we saw just under 1 inch of snow at the Spokane International Airport. But hey, more snow could be on the way this week. Today, you may consider just adding a little extra time to your commute because, hey, it's sticking to the roads this morning. And this morning, again, waking up to that dusting all across the inland Northwest.
And we do have Jeremy tracking the start of your week hour by hour for you. But first, we do want to check in with Nicole Hernandez. If you are about to head out the door this morning, she's live in Spokane giving you a look at what we see. Good morning, Nicole.
Slippery and slick roads is what we are dealing with this morning. We have just enough snow here on the ground, not enough to play with, not enough for any fun. This is like the worst kind of snow, just enough to give us trouble on the road. So this is what obviously a parking lot looks like untouched, but you can see here we are looking at Division here right near Sharp, and still a good amount of snow on the roads. Obviously, this is a very busy road with a lot of traffic. We've got another group of cars coming down the road here right now, and we still are seeing that snow on the ground, creating those slick, slippery conditions this morning. That is because it is so cold outside this morning that it's not even turning to slush. So you're going to want to be very careful as you're driving. Even I-90 is very wet, very slippery, has a little bit of snow on it. Not nearly as much as these roads, but does still have that slick, slippery conditions. The biggest issue though on I-90 that you're going to come into is the fact that that moisture is pushing back up onto your windshield. So visibility is harder on I-90, whereas the slick, slippery roads are worse here on some of our arterials. Now, of course, we say it every time as we're driving around. We want to go slow, leave room between you and other cars. Just be cautious and give yourself that time as you're headed out the door this morning, especially because you are going to have a small layer of snow on your windshield if you parked outside. So make sure to give yourself the time to wipe that off and go slow this morning. Live in North Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
All right, here we go. Woo! Oh, okay. All right, Jen, that was for you, sliding into the shot, but it is that kind of slick out there on the sidewalks as well as some of those roads, and it's not much snow. If you look right here, you can see it really doesn't amount to much. That's untouched. That is the total that we have seen. I would say that's about 2 to 3/10 of an inch, and that is it. It isn't much snow, but with temperatures down in the 20s early on this morning, that's cold enough that snow is sticking not just to the grassy, hilly areas where it has been sticking recently, but even to some of the roads across the inland Northwest. Temperatures cold enough for that to be the case. That snow, very light in nature. We are going to get another little push of it. You can see it down off to the south. For the most part, that thing isn't going to be very widespread. It's not going to offer much, and all said and done, we are basically at about the snow total for the day. We'll continue to watch things slowly dry out across much of Washington State and North Idaho, and that is all the way until late Tuesday when we get our next round of moisture moving in. I think that one offers more than what we saw out of this one, but for now, know that the little bit of snow we did get is enough to make for a slick start to the day. Temperatures going from the 20s to up near freezing later on this afternoon. And that's about as warm as we're going to get. It's going to be chilly all day long. Tomorrow, a bit of a break, but Wednesday morning will likely be another snowy one, and Wednesday during the day could pick up a couple of inches of snow, Jen.
All right, Jeremy. Also, I like that slide. very smooth.
I'm gonna do my best to iron that out throughout the show today.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. Come back inside. I know it's chilly out there, 24 degrees. Whew. All right, coming up now in 6:04. So this story may be the biggest story this week here in Spokane. This week, a mass COVID-19 vaccination site is expected to open at the Spokane Arena. Joshua Robinson is joining us live this morning from the arena. Now 2 days, Joshua, before it's expected to be up and running.
Yeah, Jen, all we're really waiting for right now is for those vaccinations to actually arrive. And if that does happen, Chaz Health says that they could get those appointments going this week. But as you mentioned, it is 2 days later than when originally we expected this to happen. But according to Chaz Health, as early as Friday, they said they were still waiting on that supply. A week ago today, Governor Jay Inslee announced 4 new vaccination sites across the state, including here at the Spokane Arena. He says his goal is to administer 45,000 vaccines per day in the state. To push counties to give us as many vaccinations as possible, he's also requiring officials to administer 95% of the vaccine allocations during the first week that they're received. So after these doses arrive in Spokane, that means officials have 1 week to give out 95% of them, so basically by next Wednesday. If all goes according to plan, anyone who is eligible in phases 1A and phase 1B can receive the vaccine. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail in just a minute. But people in those phases will be able to start making appointments on Wednesday through the Chaz Health website. According to Chaz, vaccinations will take place indoors, quote, for the sake of efficiency and to make sure people are properly observed after receiving the dose. Now, one of the biggest questions you have asked us is which vaccine will be administered. Well, the clinic did tell KREM 2 they expect to receive the Pfizer vaccine. Of course, if that changes, we will let you know. But like I mentioned, there are 3 other sites as well, aside from the Spokane Arena, 3 other sites throughout the state. Let's take a look at where those are going to be. One is at the Benton County Fairgrounds in Kennewick. Another will open at the Town Toyota Center in Wenatchee. And the third will be at the Clark County Fairground in Ridgefield. The Washington National Guard will assist local agencies opening those sites now in Spokane. Chaz is already working with the Guard along with the Spokane Regional Health District. Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward says the new site is a great way to kickstart more people getting vaccinated in our local community.
We have a new plan to get vaccinations out. Right now, we're only getting, fewer than 50% of the supply out and into the arms of people in our communities. That's not good enough. So the fact that this is a very robust plan, I'm very, very grateful for. I'm also very happy that the state has chosen Spokane to be the site of one of the mass vaccination locations.
Now we're going to talk about who can actually get that vaccine because we are still in phase 1 of the rollout plan, and phase 1 includes a variety of eligible recipients. Anyone over 65 years old can get it. Anyone who is 50 years old or older that lives in a multi-generational household. High-risk critical workers, that includes people who work in grocery stores, teachers, child care workers, people who work in prisons or jails, in public transit, agriculture, law enforcement, to name a few. Also, anyone 16 years or older who has underlying health conditions. People in congregated living settings and people who are experiencing homelessness also qualify. And if you qualify under any of these categories, you can make that appointment, as we mentioned, on Wednesday to get vaccinated. There are no walk-up appointments available, though. You must make that appointment before you come to the arena, and you can make that appointment on the Chaz Health website. Now, as these vaccines get underway, all of Eastern Washington, of course, is going to stay in phase 1 of Governor Inslee's reopening plan. That means it's going to remain in phase 1 until February 1st at the very earliest. And, of course, county officials are also looking for progress in 4 specific metrics that the state has laid out in order to move forward in the future. So those metrics include a 10% drop in both case numbers and hospitalizations over a 2-week stretch, ICU occupancy below 90% for a week, and test positivity rate has to be below 10% for 1 full week. Now, on one of our last recent checks, the East region met as many as 3 of those benchmarks, hitting case numbers down to negative 26%, which was the second largest across any region in that drop. And Washingtonians were also told that each region needs to hit 3 of the 4 metrics. Of course, that has changed. Each region now needs to hit all 4 to reach phase 2, and then they need to maintain 3 of them to stay in phase 2. Now, coming up at our 6:30 half hour this morning, I'm going to be here at the arena talking more about how our vaccine status is throughout the Northwest, and a little bit more information on numbers from the CDC. Of course, if you have any questions for us about the vaccine process, all you have to do to get that information is text the word vaccine to 509-448-2000. We'll get you the latest information we have right to your phone. Dana Marie?
A great resource, Joshua. That information could be sent directly to your cell phone, so take advantage of it. Well, this morning we want to know if you will get the vaccine now that it will be more widely available here in Spokane. Text us your answer, 509-448-2000. You could also head to the KREM 2 Twitter to vote in our live poll right now. Percentages have actually climbed this morning in terms of saying yes. 74.2% of you are saying yes, you would get it now that it's more widely available. 13% saying no, but we have seen an increase in people that are saying, I am still deciding this morning. 12.4% of you are now thinking about that decision. Of course, you can always weigh in all morning long. We love to hear from you. Also text us 509-448-2000. Jen.
All right, Dana Marie, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's already weighed in so far on that poll. Coming up now, 6:10. This morning, businesses are making a comeback after a devastating fire in downtown Coeur d'Alene. Still ahead on Up with KREM, we speak with one of the business owners now rebuilding in the pandemic. That story is coming up after the break.
And we're waking up to a bit of light snow early on this morning. Don't call it an inch, call it a dusting at best, maybe a light blanket. Tomorrow a break, but more snow is in the forecast. I'm going to walk you through the day by day coming up after the break.